The Dello Brothers, Marcus and Anthony, Sebastian and Julian, names synonymous with success, fortune, charm. America adored them. Their smiles captivating, their charisma undeniable. From humble beginnings, they built an empire. They crafted a narrative of hard work and determination. They became idols, role models for millions. Their faces graced magazine covers. Their voices filled television screens. Every product they touched turned to gold. They were the embodiment of the American dream. Self-made men who had conquered the world. Their story, a beacon of hope. Their image, flawless, impeccable. Whispers began to circulate, rumors of a darker side. Stories emerged from their past, stories of ruthlessness and ambition. The brothers, it seemed, were not afraid to use any means necessary. They crushed their rivals. They exploited loopholes. They silenced dissent. Their rise to the top was paved with the wreckage of others. The public, however, remained oblivious. The Dello brothers' charm was too potent, their image too carefully crafted. The media, complicit in their deception, they turned a blind eye to the whispers. They focused on the brothers' success. They perpetuated the myth of the self-made men. But the whispers persisted. They grew louder, more insistent. Cracks began to appear in the brothers' carefully constructed facade. A scandal here, a lawsuit there. The truth, it seemed, was slowly beginning to unravel. The Dello brothers, however, remained unfazed. They dismissed the rumors as envy. They used their wealth and influence to silence their critics. They continued to weave their web of deception. The public, for the most part, remained none the wiser. Anthony, the youngest brother, was known for his charm, his quick wit, his disarming smile. But behind the charm lurked a darkness, a recklessness that bordered on dangerous. Anthony lived on the edge. He pushed the boundaries of acceptable behavior. He flaunted his wealth and privilege. One fateful night, Anthony's recklessness caught up with him. He was involved in a hit-and-run accident. A young woman was left seriously injured. Anthony, in a panic, fled the scene. Witnesses, however, identified his car. The police were closing in. The Dello family went into damage control mode. They hired the best lawyers. They used their influence to manipulate the investigation. Witnesses were paid off. Evidence was tampered with. The truth was buried. Anthony escaped prosecution. The public never learned of his crime. The young woman, however, was left to bear the scars of that night. Anthony, it seemed, could escape the consequences of his actions. Money, it seemed, could buy silence. Sebastian, the eldest of the brothers, was known for his philanthropy, his compassion, his unwavering commitment to charitable causes. He was the face of the Dello Foundation, a beacon of hope for the less fortunate, his image one of unwavering integrity. But behind Sebastian's charitable facade lay a dark secret, a secret that threatened to shatter his carefully cultivated image. Sebastian, it seemed, was using the Dello Foundation for his own personal gain. He was funneling funds to offshore accounts. He was using charity money to finance his lavish lifestyle. Sebastian's greed knew no bounds. He exploited the very people he claimed to help. He used his position of power to intimidate and silence anyone who dared to question his actions. He was a wolf in sheep's clothing, a master manipulator hiding behind a veil of charity. The truth remained hidden. Sebastian's web of deceit was too intricate, his power too absolute. The public continued to laud his generosity. They remained oblivious to the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. The Dello brothers' secrets were intertwined, forming a complex web of deceit, a labyrinth of lies and manipulation. Each brother held pieces of the other's secrets, bound by their shared darkness, their complicity ensuring their mutual survival. Marcus, the second oldest, was the strategist. He orchestrated the brothers' public image, controlled the flow of information, and was the architect of their carefully crafted facade. He knew the truth behind their success, and understood the depths of their depravity. Julian, the third brother, was the enforcer. He dealt with any threats to the brothers' empire using intimidation and violence to silence dissent. He was the muscle behind their operation, ensuring their secrets remained buried. The Dello brothers operated like a well-oiled machine, each brother playing his part. They were united by their ambition, their greed, their willingness to do whatever it took to maintain their power. The Dello brothers were masters of deception. They understood the power of image and knew how to manipulate public perception. They used their wealth and influence to control the narrative, crafting a story that was both believable and alluring. They presented themselves as self-made men, emphasizing their humble beginnings, highlighting their hard work and determination, while downplaying their privilege and connections. They created a myth that resonated with the public. They used their philanthropy to deflect criticism, donating millions to charities, championing popular causes, and cultivating relationships with influential figures. They created a shield of goodwill that obscured their darker side. The Dello brothers understood the art of distraction, using their public persona to divert attention from their misdeeds. They created a spectacle that captivated the public, ensuring that the focus remained on their success, not their failings. Behind the glittering facade, the Dello brothers' private lives were a stark contrast. Their mansions, though opulent, were devoid of warmth. Their relationships, though numerous, were superficial and transactional. They lived in a world of isolation and paranoia. Their families were mere pawns in their game. Their wives, chosen for their beauty and social standing, were expected to maintain a perfect image. Their children, raised in a world of privilege and secrecy, were shielded from the truth about their fathers. The brothers themselves were victims of their own ambition. They were trapped in a cycle of greed and deception. They were haunted by their secrets. They lived in constant fear of exposure. Their lives were a gilded cage. The price of their success was high. They had sacrificed their humanity for wealth and power. They had traded their souls for an empire built on lies. The Dello brothers were living proof that money cannot buy happiness. Fear was the glue that held the Dello brothers' empire together. Fear of exposure, fear of retribution, fear of losing everything they had built. They used fear to control those around them. They instilled fear in their employees, their associates, even their own families. They demanded absolute loyalty. They silenced any dissent with threats and intimidation. They fostered a culture of paranoia. They created an environment where everyone was afraid to speak out against them. They were the puppet masters, pulling the strings. They used their wealth and influence to protect themselves. They had lawyers on retainer to handle any legal issues. They had private investigators to dig up dirt on their enemies. They had security teams to guard them from physical threats. They were untouchable. The Dello brothers understood the power of silence. They knew that their secrets were their greatest weakness. They went to great lengths to bury the truth. They paid off witnesses, they bribed officials, they manipulated the media. They were masters of the cover-up. The potential fallout from the exposure of the Dello brothers' secrets was immense. Their empire, built on a foundation of lies, could crumble overnight. Their reputation, carefully cultivated over decades, could be shattered in an instant. The consequences would be far-reaching. Their business dealings would come under intense scrutiny. Their philanthropic endeavors would be viewed with suspicion. Their personal lives would be dissected by the media. They would become pariahs, outcasts, symbols of greed and corruption. The public's trust, so easily gained, would be lost in an instant. Their fans, once adoring, would turn against them. Their supporters, once loyal, would abandon them. The Dello brothers would face the wrath of a betrayed public. The legal ramifications could be severe. Criminal charges could be brought against them. Lawsuits could be filed by those they had wronged. Their assets could be seized. They could face imprisonment. The Dello brothers' reign of power could come to an abrupt and humiliating end. The Dello brothers' legacy, once a tale of triumph, would be forever tarnished by the truth. Their names, once synonymous with success, would become synonymous with scandal. Their story, once an inspiration, would become a cautionary tale. The Dello brothers would be remembered not for their achievements, but for their deceit. Their empire, once seemingly invincible, would be left in ruins. Their businesses, once thriving, would struggle to survive. Their wealth, once vast, could be depleted by legal battles and financial penalties. The Dello brothers' future was uncertain, shrouded in the shadow of their own secrets. The impact on their families would be devastating. Their wives and children would be subjected to public scrutiny and ridicule. Their personal lives would be torn apart. The Dello family name, once a symbol of pride, would become a source of shame. The Dello brothers' story is a reminder that power, wealth, and fame are fleeting. True success is built on integrity, honesty, and compassion. The Dello brothers, consumed by their ambition, lost sight of these values. Their pursuit of power led to their downfall. Their legacy, forever tainted by the darkness they tried so desperately to conceal.